Hello everyone, my name is Joshua, who is in charge of the technical service of IDC, Industrial Device Connectivity. Today, the topic of the slide is Nport5000 series troubleshooting. Course description. In normal case, customers always encounter Nport communication fail, but they don't have enough knowledge to solve it. Usually, you get the issue from customer and there is no rule for troubleshooting, and you will take a lot of time doing it without good results. In order to serve customer in more efficient, the purpose of the course is to teach you follow well-defined, step-by-step guidelines to troubleshoot the problems. After the course, I hope you have the ability about troubleshooting Nport by yourself. This is my agenda. I will separate it into 3 parts. In the beginning, I will introduce Nport troubleshooting guideline. Then, in the second part, is showing how to troubleshoot for Ethernet issue. And the last part is talking about how to troubleshoot for serial issue. Are you ready? Let's move to the first part. Nport troubleshooting guideline. This is a common problem from customer. I often have trouble on operating Nport, but how can I troubleshoot by myself? Most have heard that, so we provide the standard process for troubleshooting. In other words, if you can understand this subject, you will have an overall concept to overcome Nport's basic problems. But do you have ever solved a question about troubleshooting? That is, where should we start from? Well, since Nport belongs to serial to Ethernet product, when your customer complains he cannot connect his serial device from his host, we should verify if the problem is on network side or serial side. First, we need to start from network side. Of course, the fixed connection must be correct. Then, the host must be able to ping and telnet Nport. We must also configure Nport to work in correct OP mode. And if we use real-time mode, we must properly install Nport driver on the host. Finally, the program must be able to connect Nport. When we finish to check everything on network side, and confirm the host has connected Nport, the Ethernet side should work without any problems. If the issue still exists, then we can make sure the problem is on serial side and put our effort on it. I believe that you always hear from your customers complaining about Nport cannot work properly, but actually there are so many possible reasons for them. Please see the slide. You can see a standard flowchart from step 1 to step 5. Step 1 to step 4 is more related to Ethernet issue. First, can you see the Nport's Ethernet indicator? Second, then check if the next link LED light up. Third, can host pin Nport? The fourth, check if Nport in proper operation mode. If not, select proper OP mode. Step 5 is serial issue, and we provide a checklist that you need to examine. Are you ready? Let's move to the first part, Nport troubleshooting guideline at Ethernet side. Now, I'm going to show you 5 steps orderly. When Nport doesn't work properly, the first step is to see whether Nport Ethernet LED lights up. If not, here is a checklist. First, you should use straight-through Ethernet cable to connect Nport with hub or switch. Also, please confirm the cable is fine. Second, remember the length of the cable should be less than 100 meters. The third, Check Ethernet port of hub or switch works normally. If you doubt that the port is broken, please try another port. Step 2 is to see whether network interface controller LED lights up. If not, please follow the checklist. First, be sure your network interface controller installed normally. You can use localhost to ping 127.0.0.1 to check network interface controller is fine. Then you should use straight-through Ethernet cable to connect Nport with hub or switch, and remind you of the length of the cable should be less than 100 meters. The last one, please also check the hub or switch works normally. After checking the both sides of Ethernet port, the LED should light up now. Step 3 is to examine your host is able to ping Nport. If host cannot get reply from Nport, you should confirm if the IP configuration is proper. There are two situations: no router or across router. If there is no router between Nport and host, they must be on the same subnet mask. If there is router between Nport and host, the situation will be more complicated. The gateway and routing must be proper. If you would like to debug, you can use tracer command to follow up. There is a screenshot on the page. When you use tracer command, it will show you the router you're passing through. According to the information, you can set the parameters of gateway correctly. The fourth part is to confirm if you use proper OP mode. Real-time mode is set by default. You should select the proper OP mode in Operation Setting menu. After setting up, remember making setting active by pressing the icon Save and Restore. Here, you can see the most 4 common uses of OP mode: real-time, TCP server, TCP client, and UDP mode. Next, I will show you how to troubleshoot in order. For real-time mode, you should confirm if driver installed successfully in advance. Then, make a test to open Nport's COM port. If not, there is a checklist that will help you a lot. The first one, across router or firewall. Why we need to check is because some router or firewall will ban some TCP socket port for security. You should ask your IT member to release specific port that you will use. Usually, data port will begin from 950, and command port will begin from 966. Second, in Nport, there is a check accessible IP table. If you enable the function, only the IP in the list can access to Nport. Third, in order to prevent from DHCP issue, you can use fixed IPs for Nport and host, and make specific IPs for Nport and host. The fourth, if you still cannot open the COM port, confirm if TCP port are occupied. You can use Nport's monitor function to check connection status. If there is indeed occupied by an application, please find it out and close it. The last one, confirm if COM port number conflict. Check if anyone or other program is using the same COM port number. Follow the checklist. It should fix issue at Ethernet site in real-time mode. You can check the connection status connecting with the host. Troubleshooting for TCP server mode. Nport is server to be connected, so you should check does the remote TCP client program connect with Nport properly. If not, you should follow the checklist. First, confirm if the TCP lesson is correct. It must match your TCP client program. In order to prevent from DHCP issue, you can use fixed IP for Nport and host. Besides, you can use Nport's monitor function to see if TCP port is occupied. For TCP client mode, Nport is client to make establishment. So, please check remote TCP server program be connected with Nport properly by using Nport. If not, you should follow the checklist. First, is also the most important. Confirm if the TCP destination port and IP is correct. It must match your TCP server program. In order to prevent from the DHCP issue, you also can fix IPs for Nport and host. Above checklist you follow, Nport should connect with the server program. For UDP mode, Nport can be client and server at the same time. If you find remote UDP program cannot receive and transmit data properly, here is the checklist. First is also the most important. Confirm if the UDP destination port and IP is correct. It must match your UDP program. If you would like to exclude the DHCP issue, you can use fixed IPs for Nport and host. If you find data loss for the communication, all we can do is to purify your network traffic as possible. But if there is no improvement by purifying your network traffic, and you're also really concerned about data loss issue, we will suggest you to use TCP server or TCP client to prevent data loss. Above all are talking about Ethernet troubleshooting. If you finish Ethernet troubleshooting, then the problems may be solved. If not, you must concentrate on following slides, which is related to serial troubleshooting. Are you ready? At serial side, there are many possible reasons will cause the communication fail. Below are the serial troubleshooting checklist. For serial communication, the parameters must be the same as your serial devices, such as serial baud rate, data frame, and so on. For pin assignment, as we know, there are 3 serial interfaces that we usually use. In our experience, sometimes we find Nport pin assignments are different from device. They will cause issue. So, checking if the pin assignment is correct is very important. For cable wiring issue, please check if the cabling way are correct. For example, if they use RS485, we need to check in 4Y or 2Y. Does they use daisy chain or point-to-point? For cable length, there are limitations for different interfaces. For RS232, the limitation is 15 meters and 9600 bits per second. For RS422 and 485, the limitation is 1.2 kilometers and 9600 bits per second. For RS422 and RS485 interfaces, it's also related to reflection and driving capability. Terminator can prevent from reflection and try to adjust port high-low to improve the communication. For control, if you use RTS and CTS, you must connect RTS and CTS wiring, or your Nport will fail in communication. Till now, we have learned the basic troubleshooting tips. If problems still exist, it belongs to advanced problem. You can contact Mozart for further assistance. This is the last slide, and now I'm going to recap today's point. For Ethernet side, you have to check if Nport Ethernet LED lights up, if NIC link LED lights up, if host is able to ping Nport, if Nport is in proper operation mode. For serial side, you have to check cable wiring weight, pin assignment, serial communication parameters, cable length, and try to adjust terminator and pull high-low resistor. Thanks for your listening. Thank you.